So you're standing in your shop or warehouse, staring at a pallet of steel beams or a stack of heavy machinery parts, and you realize you need a way to move it around without killing your back or waiting for a forklift. You've seen the listings: bright blue gantry cranes that look like they'll solve everything, but then you read the reviews and half of them say the wheels won't roll straight or the frame flexes under load. I get it. I've been there. That's exactly why I dug into the Vestil FHS 4-20 steel fixed gantry crane. It's one of those tools that looks great on paper but can feel like a letdown once it's in your space. If you're on the fence, let me walk you through what actually matters before you hit add to cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. This isn't one of those light-duty garage cranes you see for $300. This is a 4,000-pound rated gantry that's built to stay put. The welded steel frame is beefy enough that it won't start wobbling when you're lifting an engine block or a bundle of pipe. That's the kind of stability you don't appreciate until you've wrestled with a flimsy unit that leans every time you touch it. The powder-coated blue finish looks sharp and resists chipping better than most bare metal frames, so if you're putting it in a visible area, it won't look like a reject from a scrapyard after 6 months. Now, the casters are where things get interesting. You get 4 Phenolic wheels, nylon with a Phenolic resin core, each rated for 1,000 pounds. They're swivel casters, so you can roll it around corners, but they also have 4-way position locks. That means once you roll it into place, you can lock it in 2 directions to keep it from drifting while you're lifting. I've seen cheaper cranes where the casters swivel even when you don't want them to, and it's a nightmare when you're trying to keep a load steady. These locks actually work, which is more than I can say for some brands that skimp on the locking mechanism. But here's the catch: this gantry is fixed. It doesn't fold down or telescope. It's a permanent setup in your workspace. If you're renting or you move your shop often, this isn't the crane for you. It's heavy, around 500 pounds, so moving it isn't a one-person job. You'll need a pallet jack or a forklift to relocate it. That's not a flaw, but it's a limitation that a lot of buyers overlook when they're focused on the lifting capacity. If you need portability, look elsewhere. If you need a solid, stationary lift point in your shop, this is a different story. OSHA and ASME compliance might sound like jargon, but it matters if you're in a commercial space. This crane meets OSHA 29 CFR 1910.179 and ASME B 30.17 standards, which means it's designed with safety factors built in. The 4,000-pound capacity is the rated load, not the absolute max, so you're not pushing the limits every time you use it. That's the kind of detail that separates a tool you'll use for years from one that becomes a liability. Who should buy this? If you're a small fabrication shop, a mechanic with heavy engine work, or a warehouse that needs a dedicated lift point for awkward loads, this gantry is a solid investment. It's not overbuilt like a 10-ton industrial crane, but it's not underbuilt like a DIY project either. It's the kind of tool that disappears into the background once you set it up until you need it, and then it just works. Who should skip it? If you're a hobbyist with light loads, or if you need something you can fold up and store in a weekend warrior garage, this is overkill. It's also not ideal if you're in a tight space where every inch counts, because the base is wide and the height is fixed. And if you're hoping to use it outdoors in rain or snow, the Phenolic wheels are better than plain steel, but they're not fully sealed, so you'll want to keep it under cover when you're not using it. The biggest practical strength here is the stability. Once it's locked in place, it doesn't walk across the floor when you're lifting. The casters are smooth enough that you can roll it with a pallet jack, but once locked, it's rock solid. The powder coat holds up well, and the frame doesn't flex under load, something I've seen with cheaper models that start to sag after a few months of use. The biggest practical weakness is the lack of adjustability. If your load sizes change often, or if you need to lift something higher than the 20-foot height, you're out of luck. This is a one-size-fits-most setup, and if your needs are specific,